Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another tips and tricks slash rant video this week. I left my contacts at home for some reason, so now I'm wearing my glasses today. So today I want to go over the top 5 things that I like as far as marketing, our top 5 marketing things that we're doing right now, and kind of a little bit about each one. Number 1, we're going to talk about driving for dollars. You hear me talk about this a lot, but I still love it. I still drive for dollars today. And once you become addicted to driving for dollars, you find yourself leaving the house an extra 30 minutes early just so you can drive in neighborhoods you can. Now I'm going to explain the concept of what driving for dollars is. Essentially, you're going to drive around in neighborhoods, places that you consider hot or not hot. Now, if you watch last week's video about finding the hottest zip codes, it gives you a place to actually drive around in. So when you have a target demographic place to actually drive around, then it makes it a lot easier. But what you're doing is you're driving around and you're looking for houses that are unkept, that have code violations, that have tall grass, tall bushes. I know summer is quickly coming to the end. Actually, I think it's fall already, but you get to see the grass is higher in certain areas and stuff like that. You want to jot down those addresses and you want to put those in your system and skip trace and give those guys a call. So driving for dollars is very, very, very important. I think you should do it, make it part of your weekly, daily regiment, because that's how you can find some crazy deals. My next one is referrals. Believe it or not, walking around and telling people what you do everywhere you go, handing out business cards, telling people what you do. A simple trick is when somebody says, hey, how are you doing today? What you should say back to them is, I'm doing great, but I'm actually looking for another house to buy. And that leads into more conversation. So tell people what you do every single day. Tell them you buy houses that need to be repaired or any situation. If you do that with everybody you speak to, eventually you're going to start getting phone calls from people that says, hey, look, my aunt, my sister, my friend, whoever it is actually wants to sell their property. And you'd be surprised the amount of deals you get from just simply referrals. And here's a cool thing. Your current customers, ask them. Your past customers, ask them, hey, do you have or do you know anybody that wants to sell a house the non-traditional way, or do you know anybody who wants to sell a house quickly? You believe it or not, word of mouth is out there, and it's probably the best, and more importantly, it's free. All it costs is a relationship. So referrals are my number 2. All right, bandit signs. I love bandit signs. They still work. They still work. And the thing about bandit signs is you have to be consistent. It's a fairly cheap method of marketing. Your signs can be put down on Monday or whatever day, and it's up the next day. It's just a cost of doing business. Now, bandit signs are probably more than likely frowned upon in your market, right? So there's some rules with bandit signs. Obviously, don't put your personal number on there. Don't put your business number that's published anywhere else, because if it is frowned upon and you do have to pay a fine, it's easy for them to track you down. But what I would do, it's a risk versus reward type scenario. Find out, maybe put them out every Friday night, pick them up every Sunday, until you get comfortable and knowledgeable about the local ordinances with using bandit signs. Okay, guys? But bandit signs work. People still call them bandit signs. A lot of people call them, but you're going to get better leads as you leave them out longer and continuously do it. And that's one thing about bandit signs people don't do, is they make it regiment. We put out a certain amount of bandit signs every single week, and that helps us being consistent, and people see the sign and they eventually call it. Right? So bandit signs, don't forget it. Number 4, I love it. I started talking about this months and months and months ago, about 10, 11 months ago. Cold calling, calling people. Why did I start cold calling? Because I didn't have the money to actually start mailing. And once we tripled down, doubled down on cold calling, consistently putting yourself out there, it's going to bring back crazy results. And the reason why is because a postcard statistically takes 6 times before it's considered a reach lead, right? It takes 6 postcards. You can do the math on that to figure out what that is. I personally didn't have the money to do that when I first got started. So calling, picking up the phone, skip tracing somebody, call them. And then what is skip trace? Just look it up. Skip trace is simply, finding a person's information. You have their house and who they are. Now you need to find out a contact information for them. There's many, many places for you to find skip tracing. We use REI Skip and some other places like that. So definitely cold calling is very important. I know some of you guys have a fear of getting on the phone. I understand it. I did too in the beginning, and you will as well. But the moment you start making more and more calls, by the time you make your 100th, 200th call, you're going to be flawless. I mean, you can look at Lewis. When he first came in here to what he is now, he doesn't have to have a script. He doesn't have to have those type of things. So yeah, definitely check into cold calling. It's one of the methods that I say everybody should start out in their business. If I told you, if you were brand new starting out right now, I would say drive for dollars and cold call them. That's what I would tell you to do. And the last but not least, ringless voicemail, REI. I invented this system that we've been using internally for so long, and now we've released it to the public. It's called REIRail.com. Basically, this method is called ringless voicemails. It basically, you send out a pre-recorded message to people's voicemail, and it only works on cell phones. The phone doesn't ring, it just goes straight to their voicemail. They listen to your voicemail. If they're interested in what you have to say, then they will call you back, and those leads turn out to be pretty hot. But just like any other marketing method, and I think the number one marketing method that I talk about is consistency. So if you're going to do any of these, make sure you are consistent when you're actually doing these. RVM is cool. We put out a lot. We get a lot of calls. The system that we developed for everybody to use works well. We use it internally for 9 months before we ever released it out to anybody. So REI Rail, RVMs is what it is. So REIRail.com, if you want to check that out, you should absolutely go check it out. Tonight, I'm actually going to be doing a webinar, the last webinar about RVM and REI Rail. If you're watching this and it's coming out today, make sure you go to therealmaxwell.com, register for the webinar. Spots are limited for this one, as each time we've done it, we've hit capacity and people got kicked out of the room. So I'm going to recap what I said. Driving for dollars, referrals, bandit signs, cold calling, and RVM. Those are my top 5 marketing methods right now. Yes, these things change all the time, but right now, that's my top 5. All right, guys, I want to wrap this up real quick. You've seen my top 5 marketing methods that I use. I appreciate you watching this video. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe, like button, and also go in the comments. Tell me which one of the 5 is your top one. Which one do you like? Which one do you don't like? And which one you're going to be doing to make you a lot of money in this business. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Next time. Peace.